something you suggest. But as the two of y'all know, I'm KellyannCostanzo, Realtor in Florida and in North Carolina. And this is Morgan Cassidy, and she is licensed in 4 states or 5?
5 states.
5 states.
So I am licensed in North Carolina. I am licensed in Florida, Texas, Arizona, and Washington State.
Nice. So she can help a lot of people. But really what we're doing is we wanted to put together a buyer's workshop so that a lot of buyers that we come in contact with don't know about the process of buying. They don't know about the down payment situation, credit scores, all of that good stuff. So we wanted to just really kind of help people understand an overview of the process. And, home buying might seem like it's daunting and overwhelming, but it really doesn't have to be when you have the right people on your side. So I've been in the business 15 years. And how long have you been in, Morgan?
I'm going on 4 years. I've been with my company for 6 years.
Nice. Very nice. Okay. So if y'all have any questions, let us know. We have lots of good information. So really what our goal is to help our customers' dreams come true through home ownership. That is the original American dream, to be able to own a home. So we have a little slide presentation and we will go through that. And I believe Morgan's going to start. So go ahead.
Are you going to change the slide?
I will try to. I'm sorry. This is really like a whole new ball game. It's not even giving me the option to change it. It's so funny because I don't have the option.
Let's see if I can.
Oop, I didn't want to remove that. Sorry. Oop, there we go. Oh, yeah, I got it. There we go.
Okay, so the topics we're going to discuss tonight is benefits of homeownership, obviously your team for the home buying process, the steps to homeownership, establishing house hunting criteria, Mortgage 101, your mortgage solutions, understanding closing costs, the application process, what to expect at closing, and post-closing information. The benefits to homeownership. There's quite a few benefits. One of them is your tax benefits. So each year, once you buy a home and you actually own the home, you can actually claim your taxes, your property taxes, your homeowner's insurance, and your interest that you pay on your property taxes. So this is usually a huge incentive. And then it usually helps you with your property or with your income taxes each year. As you claim them, and it usually gets you some money back until you start having kids. And then things like that kind of change it. But and then your first year is always a great year on your income taxes when you purchase your home, because a lot of things will go into your prepaid interest, your closing costs, and all of that. You get to claim all of that on your income taxes. Obviously your long-term investment of owning the home. They say that there's no guarantee that your property will increase in value. However, over the last 80 years, homes have never decreased in value. They haven't even decreased this year with the interest rates going up. They are still constantly increasing. And I think we're still seeing, especially in Washington State, we are still seeing an increase of 10% this year of equity in the home. Obviously, you have your equity that you build in purchasing a home. So when you purchase your home, you have your equity that you're building. That also ends up being like a safety reserve. You can use that down the road. A lot of people will use it to help put their kids through college. You can use it as a vacation fund, I guess, down the road. You can use it for home improvements. There's so many things you can use for your equity. I mean, if you start buying multiple homes, and the equity can actually in return be your retirement, and really be your nest egg. And And then obviously you have the personalization of owning a home. When you rent, you can't paint, you can't put new cabinets in, you really can't customize the home to make it your own. And those of you that love HGTV, you can really HGTV it, or Pinterest. I guess Pinterest is the new HGTV. So you can really personalize it and make the home your own.
Yes. That's the fun part.
Yes, it really is.
My favorite.
Next is the team for the home buying process. This is a plethora of people. Obviously you have your loan officer, which would be myself and my team. I do have an assistant. This is your first step, is getting pre-approved. So, so you can get comfortable and figure out where your comfortable monthly mortgage payment is. And then just to find out where your happy, home shopping range is, so that then you can get handed over to Kellyann and you can start house hunting. Obviously Kellyann is next. So your real estate agent.
How many people start looking in the wrong price point and they just get discouraged when they can't afford what they really enjoy, what they really want. So it is so important to start with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And and it's crazy too. There's so many things that go into place with your total monthly mortgage payment, because you have your principal and your interest, and then people don't take into factor the property taxes. And depending on what state you're in, your property taxes can take a good chunk of change. Like North Carolina and Florida, your property taxes might only be a couple of $100s. Texas, Arizona, Washington State, you're looking at $300 to $500 a month in property taxes. So a $300,000 home in North Carolina, your property taxes might be $285. Out in Washington State, on a $300,000 home, your property taxes might be $450. So that really takes a toll on your total monthly payment. So speaking with the loan officer first and really getting that idea of where you're comfortable at with your monthly mortgage payment is definitely ideal. That way, when you're walking through these houses and you are falling in love, you kind of have the idea of what you're going to be paying as you fall in love.
One thing I'd like to add to that, some of the communities are HOA communities, homeowners association. And so you also have to factor in those fees. And if you're looking in Florida, which is where I'm from, there's also a separate fee called a CDD fee, which is a community development fee. And that can be several thousand a year. So all of that has to be factored in when you're looking at a home. So you really don't want to get your hopes up before you really know where you stand.
So then once you're pre-approved, we would send you over to Kellyann, your real estate agent, and then the loan processor. So this really happens after your contract is, once you're mutual on your contract and the seller has offered or accepted your offer, the loan processor is really back on my side. And my assistant really can act as a processor. He has been through this direct submit program. So he can be my processor, and then I have my underwriter. Everything that is done in my company also is done in-house. So it's not third party like most brokerages are. So I have a direct relationship with the processor, with our underwriter. And then obviously we have our appraiser. Kellyann works directly with the appraiser. I am not allowed to have any communication with the appraiser during this process. And then Kellyann helps you with the home inspector, and you handle all of that with Kellyann. And then we have title and escrow, which is where you will meet to sign all of your closing documents when we get the clear to close. And then your insurance agent. I do like to go one step above and get a quote for you to have something to compare when you call insurance agents or other insurance companies to get a quote as well. But I do try to always go that extra mile and try to get a homeowner's insurance quote for you. And then I know that life is crazy sometimes too, and it's just easier to go with who I get because we don't always have time to call 15 places to get quotes.
Can everybody hear okay? Somebody just commented they could not hear. I don't know if it's service or just what.
Can you send me the link for the YouTube real quick on email too, so I can see these questions in case they ask them?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So I can answer.
Yeah, I'll email that right to you. All right, you should have that. Okay. Technology is wonderful. Yeah, good. You can monitor that. That'd be great. Because that did not come over. You can hear. I agree. Okay, great. Okay, cool. Miss Connie, if you can't hear right now, there's always going to be the option you can watch it on the replay too. Sorry, I'm not sure what's going on. Okay.
Okay, awesome. Okay, and I've got the YouTube up for questions as well. And I made sure I'm not muted. Connie, can you hear me now? Can you add another comment if you can hear or not?
Yeah, let us know. We want you to be able to hear. Did you see her comment on that side? She may have texted. Okay. Well, let's continue. Hopefully she can. If not, I'll just have to send her the link after we're done. But we don't want to hold everybody else up.
Okay.
But this whole process seems daunting. But it's really, when you are in the hands of experienced people, it's not so bad. So we keep track of timelines. We keep track of everything and the whole process. And so that's something that the buyer does not have to worry about. But what is helpful is when buyers quickly respond. I'm going very slow. Can you hear me okay, Morgan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we definitely ask buyers to respond quickly, especially when the loan officers need information. Sometimes it feels like they need a lot of information, but it's necessary. So the quicker you can get it over there to them, the easier and the faster the closing can be. So, all right, next.
Okay, and then your steps to homeownership. Obviously, get pre-qualified. A pre-qualified is basically a quick little pre-approval. Well, it's not even pre-approval. It's a quick pre-qualification based off of basic information you give me, your monthly income, your assets that you think you need or that you have, and then how much you are comfortable paying. And then I can kind of give you a pre-qualification. Pre-qualifications are not really accepted anymore. What you really want to get is a pre-approval. A pre-approval is where I actually collect your documents, your bank statements, your pay stubs, your driver's license, your W-2s, tax returns, and we actually complete a loan application and I pull your credit and we get solid numbers so that I can send a pre-approval letter out to your agent so that when you're house hunting and you're putting in offers, there's a letter that comes from the lender that states, hey, all of this has been verified and we've actually seen everything and we've run what is called an automatic underwriting, run you through our AUS system, which is actually an automatic underwriting system. And we have gotten the green light for you guys to start house hunting. So a pre-approval nowadays is definitely more solid than a pre-qualified. And then obviously you can start your house hunting once you get that. Then you work with Kellyann and she starts sending you all your wish list homes. Then you start making offers. I would say 2 years ago, this was the very daunting process. This was the daunting part of it. Wouldn't you say, Kellyann?
Oh, yes.
Now it's not so daunting.
You
actually, I would say, Kellyann can definitely speak for this, but I would say for the most part, you can definitely look at a couple of houses, really weigh out the pros and the cons of each house and sleep on it probably, and then put your offer in, and more than likely your offer is going to get accepted. And then we start the loan process and we secure your mortgage.
Yeah. I was going to say, about a year ago, each property had probably 10, 15 offers on them, and they were
Mhm.
over asking price. Some of them, even in Florida, were up to $80,000 over asking price. That's not happening any longer, which is wonderful, because people would have to come to the table with cash. But now we're seeing the market become more steady. So you don't have to act immediately on a home that you're interested in. Some of the houses that are priced a little lower, yes, but an average price in Fayetteville, I would say 253, 300, 350. You have, about 30 days they're on the market. So, which is better for the buyers. In Florida, it's a little bit longer, which is great. Price points are a little higher. So, but you don't have to act on it immediately, which is great.
Mhm.
So you can actually think, do I really want this home, or is this one better for me? So that's better for the buyer and their peace of mind.
Yeah.
Was that everything?
Yes.
Okay, cool. There's so much we can talk about, so much we can share. But once you find the home that you want, it's very important we rely heavily on the home inspection. Because North Carolina is a buyer beware state, and sellers do not have to disclose information. So we definitely get the inspections, as many as we may need, if it's a septic inspection or a homeowner's, just a regular homeowner's. But that's a cost that a lot of buyers don't realize that they have as well. And like if you are buying in Florida and you're buying a home that has a pool, you definitely want an inspection for that. And some home inspectors will offer that with their regular homeowners inspection. But those cost between $450 and about $600, and that is part of the cost of buying a home. So that's something I really want people to understand is, a lot of first time home buyers just don't understand that there's a lot of upfront costs. And so if you are kind of worried about that, we can walk you through, we can get pretty creative on how to help you with that. There's different types of situations. So anyway, that's just another conversation we can have on the side about that. But anyway, go ahead, Morgan.
So more continued steps of the homeownership, obviously your home inspection and the appraisal. Kellyann was just explaining a little bit about that. You have your home inspection that Kellyann handles, and you pay for that directly through her. And then the appraisal is handled through me. The main differences between the home inspection is more like your medical report of the home. It really is going to deep dive the bones, the structures, all of the, it's like a medical report of your home. You're really going to know what you're getting into with the home, the electrical, the plumbing, the structure of the home. The appraisal is more so just the value of the home, and to make sure, like if you are doing a government financing, if you're doing a VA loan, an FHA loan, a USDA loan, there are certain requirements that have to be met to do the financing for it. And those are going to be found on the appraisal. So I handle the appraisal because we want to make sure it comes in at value and it's not overpriced for financing. And we need to make sure that the appraisal holds that value for the financing, and also that it is meeting certain minimum living MLRs, which are minimum living requirements to be able to finance for the home. So, and those are found on your appraisal. Then you have to purchase, obviously, your homeowner's insurance, or what is called hazard insurance. Again, I help you with that. I try to get a quote for you, and then I can help answer any questions on those for you. Then once we get our final approval and are clear to close, we schedule closing for you. Either Kellyann will take care of that for you, or I will reach out to title and escrow to handle that for you. And then once you fund and record, you will get your keys. It is not like HGTV. We do not slide the keys over at the table. You have to fund and record in almost all states now before you can get the keys.
That is true, except for Florida.
Oh, really?
Yes. At closing, they get the keys at the.
Okay. I haven't bought a house in Florida yet.
Yep. At the time of signing their closing paperwork, and once they're funded, they get keys at that moment.
Oh, okay.
But as Morgan is saying, in most other states, they do not. So sometimes people have to wait the next day. So that's something, we'll talk about based on the state too.
Nice.
Okay, that's everything there. Thank you. House hunting, the best part.
All right, Kelly, this is yours.
All right. So the house hunting is the best part. That's my favorite part. Basically, once we get the pre-approval from Morgan, we will have like a perimeter of what we can look for. So if you're pre-approved for say 225 to 250, I will set up a search in that price range. So you're not going to see houses for 400. You're not going to see them for 600. You're going to see them for the price range that you can actually afford. And then based on what your needs are, if you need 3 bedrooms, close to the city, or if your job is say outside the city limits and you're looking, more in the rural kind of area, we set it up that way. So I can set it up in a variety of different ways. And then once you find a couple homes that you're interested in, we'll set up a showing and we'll get out and start touring them. Let's see here. I think we pretty much said everything that's on here. It's pretty self-explanatory. You just basically let me know what you're looking for, and then we go from there. Okay. So what is interesting by the states? The states, like I said before, I'm licensed in Florida and I'm licensed in North Carolina. Florida and North Carolina are very different when making an offer on a home. On this slide, you'll see a statement about due diligence. Due diligence is a fee that is different than an escrow or a binder. It's separate, and it's a non-refundable fee. Whenever you make an offer on a home, you are required to put down money. And it depends on the price point of the home that you're buying. But a due diligence is basically, it's a good faith money. So sometimes it's $3,000, sometimes it's $5,000, but it's in good faith. I am planning to move forward and buy this home. The buyer will not get that back if they choose to back out, but if they choose to move forward, it comes off the price of the home, which is very good. And like I said, Florida does not have that. But whatever money that you put down when you are looking to purchase a home, it does come back to you at the closing. So it'll show up like on the closing disclosure, for instance. Let's see here. Speak with the neighborhood about. Yeah, I always recommend folks driving around the neighborhood at various times of the day, weekends, and such, to find out if the neighborhood is what you would like, to live in. That way you can get a good feel for the area. As a realtor, we are not allowed to give neighborhood, like crime information, if it's a good neighborhood, bad neighborhood kind of thing. We're not allowed to do that. So that's kind of your due diligence. So you definitely want to look into that kind of stuff. You can go on like the sheriff's office websites, and that's something I can share with you later as well. When we are looking, let's see here, ask about foundation work. Are you talking about like in a home? Is that what that's referring to, the foundation work? I'm not sure what that bullet point means. Basically, what we'll do, we will ask the seller to provide any information they can about the home, the one specifically that you're interested in. And
yes, probably.
Yeah, sometimes they'll give you a whole bunch of information. Sometimes they will not. That's why we rely heavily on the inspector, or the variety of inspectors, depending on what's going on with the home. Some homes do have foundational issues. So I think that's what that's in referencing. What's that is referencing? So the only way you would know that is by having the home inspected. Okay. The current market conditions, if the neighborhood is a part of an HOA, that's the homeowners association, it's governed by certain rules and things that you have to abide by. So that is very important to know. I did live in an HOA, and there were some things I would get in trouble for doing, like door open. So you really need to know like what the rules are and if it's something you're willing to abide by or not, because each neighborhood is going to be a little bit different. It is very important to know the age of the HVAC system and if there's a furnace, the age of the roof, all that stuff, because correct me if I'm wrong, Morgan, depending upon the age, the loan how does that work, Morgan, if the roof is too old?
So that really affects insurance. And I know this is a big Florida thing, but I know if it's 10 years older, it's a huge thing with Florida insurance.
I think that's a new law too.
Yeah, I think so too, because my insurance person for Florida was telling me about that. Mm-hmm. And I think in Texas as well, because Texas has areas where they really get hit hard with hail most of the year. And I want to say Texas, it's like 5 years on their roof.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah. Wow. So that's something important to know too, because if you are, like planning on buying a house that has an older roof, you may have to replace the roof if the seller's unwilling to replace it or even give you a credit. So that's something you need to kind of think about too. And that's something we walk you through as we look at the homes and we get the dates of all of the major systems. But the roof is probably one of the more expensive ones. And then we check the comparable sales of the home that you're interested in to make sure that we make the right offer for the home. And so what we do is we check the latest sales with the homes in the area, the same age group and the same square footage, things like that, so that we know the exact value, or it's almost an exact value. So yep. And so we use the comparables to help us price the home, and then you use that information to make an offer on the home. So I'm sorry if the sound is having a problem. I'm not sure what's going on, but please bear with us. Okay. The real estate purchase contract is legally binding. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We've gone over kind of a lot of information, but we're just going to continue, and you can watch us on the replay. But thank you for joining us. So we're talking about finding a home, and you're ready to move forward on purchasing it. So the next step is to make an offer. And what I was just saying is we use the comparables in the neighborhood of where the home is located. And we use what they sold for based on the square footage and the updates, the age of the house and all of that to come up with a comparable market price. Once we put in an offer, and like I said, each state's different, it is a legally binding contract. So that is very, very important to know. You cannot just back out just for like any reason. So you definitely need to know that going forward. And when we do put in an offer on a home, there's some bullet points here. So I'll just go ahead and cover them. We speak with the lender about what a reasonable closing date would be. Sometimes depending on the loan that you're looking for, like USDA is going to be a little bit longer right now. Right, Morgan?
Yes, it is.
We have one right now. We're like, are they ever going to get back to us? But typically you can expect to close once you put in an offer and you are pre-approved in about 30 days. Mm-hmm. If it's cash, you can do cash, 5 to 10 days. But anyway, we're talking about a loan right now. So when we put in an offer, basically we suggest, we make an offer of price. So if the home is listed, for instance, $215, some people like to say, we'll offer $215, or some people want to come in at $210, $205. And what we'll do is we'll say, here, seller, Mr. and Miss Seller, we'll make an offer of $205. Would you accept that? Would you accept, we're going to pay with a FHA type loan, and we would like 30 days to close. If they come back with, yes, we will accept your offer, then we have a certain amount of time to do the inspections. And like I said before, there are certain types of inspections, a regular home inspection, you could have a pool inspection, a septic inspection, different things like that. So you have a time frame to get those done. And within that time frame, if you are requesting a seller to make repairs, you have to do it within that time frame. So that's our job. That's what I do. I keep up with all the time frames, and so does Morgan, because she's she has to abide by those as well.
Yeah.
And then you have closing costs. So that again is something we negotiate with the seller, and that's based on the seller, the buyer. We also submit the pre-qualification letter so that the seller knows that you're actually able to purchase a home. And then so what I was saying earlier about the due diligence, there's different terminology for real estate. In North Carolina, we have the due diligence that you're required to put down, and that's a non-refundable. In other states, you just have an earnest money deposit, or they call it binder, they call it escrow, so there's different terms for it. But that's what you put down within a couple of days of making your offer and it being accepted. Okay. I know I'm going fast, but if you have questions, feel free to reach out. Morgan, you are.
Ooh. So preparing your credit. When you go to, obviously you want to know your credit, but I also understand that a lot of people that have never bought a house before and first-time home buyers don't know their credit and don't know where to start. And I can definitely help with that. We can do a loan application. We can set you on the path. I do also help with credit repair, but I can also set you up with a 3-month, 6-month, 9-month, even 1-year plan on how to get you ready to purchase your first home. And sometimes it's just little things that you can do, and we can really just set you up for success with the discipline of that year or that 6 months that you may need to get your credit score to come up a little bit. And then I can send you over your consumer credit report so that you can see things that are on here. You may have to dispute some things. Some things may not need to actually be on your credit report, and we can actually dispute them. I do check your three credit reports, which is Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. And then, like I said, after we go over that, and if you're not quite at the point to purchase a home now, and we go over that, and you do see things that are that need to be disputed, I can also help you on how to dispute them to the credit report, to the credit agencies. I'm done with this page, Kelly.
Yeah, sorry, I was answering somebody's question.
Oh, I see. I can't see any of the questions popping in. Yeah, I can't see any of the questions popping in. All I see are the comments.
Oh, I don't know. Sorry, guys. This is our first on this platform, so we will get it worked out.
Yeah. And then obviously once you're pre-approved and you're under contract, avoid making large purchases. If you have to make a large purchase, if there's something you have to buy, please call me first. If something happens, I totally get it. Life happens. Just give me a call first. Let's talk it out and see if it's something that can't wait until after you purchase your house. And then we definitely want to keep your debt to income below 30%. And I can definitely explain all of that and how we get that. Oh, Kelly, go back.
Oh, my apologies. Okay. Sorry about that.
And then obviously avoid opening any new credit lines. So basically, once you do your loan application to purchase a home and you get pre-approved, and then once you're under contract, and even when you're pre-approved, once you start house hunting and you are pre-approved, you do not give your social security to anybody. I do not care what they need it for. You do not give your social security number to anybody. Once you're under contract and you are ready to purchase your house, the only person you can give your social security number to that I will allow is the electric company, because the type of credit pull that they do to get your services turned on is completely different than what we do, and it does not hit your credit report. Okay, now I'm done.
Somebody is asking, what is the roof age for the loans in North Carolina?
30 years. I haven't seen anybody go over 30. We won't do anything more than a 30-year loan.
We were saying 10 years is the new standard in Florida and 5 is Texas, but 30 is North Carolina.
Yeah, 30 year. We won't do a financing longer than 30 year. And then obviously depending on where you're comfortable with your monthly mortgage payment, we can definitely decrease that to what you're comfortable with. I do a lot of 30 year and a lot of 15 year.
I'm sorry, I stated the question wrong. For the roof specifically.
For the roof for North Carolina. So that I haven't really seen anything with insurance. It's usually like a 15-year roof. I know when my husband and I purchased our house in 2018, we did put a new roof on it in 2018. We had a ton of shingle damage due to a hurricane and then some thunderstorms that came through. And we put a new roof on it, and it was warranted for 20 years, and it was supposed to be good for 30 years.
Nice.
So yeah, so North Carolina does not kind of fall into that.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lowering your monthly payments. Obviously, to evaluate your preparing to purchase means you save for your down payments and you pay off debts. So we can obviously, if your debt to income is too high for purchasing a home, I can help you and teach you the snowballing effect and help you to eliminate some debts. We can definitely address that. And some things you just may need to pay off, and they may be small enough to pay off. And then a lot of things, this has like lowering your thermostat, basically turning off your AC or your heat or whatever, lowering your consumption of water. Do people still use cable? I have no clue. Streaming services, do we really need Netflix? Really going through. So this is something, canceling any unused subscriptions or memberships. This is something that I have even gotten used to doing. Every 4 months, I will go through my Apple subscriptions. I will go through my checking account to see what kind of subscriptions I have, because it never fails. My kids will sneak in a subscription on Amazon, like for music, or all of a sudden I'm paying for an Xbox membership. Or I didn't realize I was paying for Hulu when it should be free with my cell phone bill. So this is just great for anyone to do regardless. But every 4 months I do go through my checking accounts. I go through my Amazon subscriptions and I go through my Apple subscriptions just to make sure I'm not paying unnecessary or paying double on my subscriptions, because that has definitely happened before too, where I'm paying on double subscriptions, especially when one should be free or in another package. And then I'm actually paying for it 2 or 3 times. So that's great just to do every couple of months to make sure. It has actually saved me $150 once to check your memberships. Reduce eating out and ordering takeout. I know I can be guilty of this. Sometimes my brain break is just to go get fast food instead of eating a sandwich. But that's a good way to save some money. And every time you feel like you want to go spend money at a restaurant, instead of spending that $60, put that $60 in your savings account for your down payments. It will add up quickly. Using coupons at the grocery store. This is actually something my first job was actually at a grocery store. And my mom actually taught me this whenever she used coupons. But, this was back in the days where we got newspapers. She would clip coupons, and whatever she saved at the grocery store, if she saved, I don't know, $30, she would actually put $30 in her savings account. So she would still spend that $30, but she would pay herself at the grocery store. So that's something to think of too. And then sometimes, which this is kind of crazy to think about, but sometimes raising your deductibles with insurance, whether it be your health insurance, through work, your car insurance. But if you raise your deductible, say you have $100 deductible right now on your car insurance and you raise it to $250, it could actually reduce your monthly insurance by $25 to $50 a month.
Wow.
Yes, you would have to pay more if you got into a car accident, but if you're not getting into a car accident every 6 months, it could be worth it. So that's definitely something to consider as well. And actually, when I send out homeowners insurance quotes, I always send it with $1,000 deductible, a $1,500 deductible, and a $2,000 deductible, because it does drastically change your homeowners insurance on what you're paying each month.
That's great information.
Yeah. Yeah. Dealing with debts. So requesting credit cards with 0% APR. I don't even think that exists today. But what you can do is, like, when you call the cable, when the cable company or the internet company, because like I said, I don't even know if anybody does cable anymore, but I know they still provide internet. So when the internet always offers that 1-year contract, you can get the highest speed internet for $75, and then all of a sudden your internet bill is $150. I do know you can call and negotiate with them. And if you're a good negotiator, AKA wife, female, usually after negotiating, they will extend a new client or new customer promotion to you for another year, just to get you to be quiet, and to keep you as a customer. So like, you can use that. A lot of times you can use that on a credit card too. If you are a good paying client on your credit cards and your credit cards are never maxed out, you're good at paying them down or paying them off every month. And all of a sudden your interest rate is 18% or 14%, which I think is pretty normal for a going rate right now on a credit card. Do your research and go on their websites and see what they're offering for a new person to sign up for Discover. If they're offering new person, sign up for our credit cards today and get 7% interest rate. Okay, well, why can't I have 7%? I've been with you. I've had a Discover card for 10 years and I pay it off every single month, and you're charging me 14%. I deserve that 7%, and I want that 7% for the next year because you're offering it to new client customers, but I'm a great paying customer and that's what I want. So negotiation never hurts. And then obviously, consolidation loans, that's kind of a tricky one, depending on what the interest rates are on all of the loans. And again, this is something, if you have a lot of debt and you really want to purchase a home, this is where I would say, let's do a loan application and really see what we're looking at. And then let's see if it really does benefit you to do a loan consolidation. Because if you do have multiple accounts that have a 14% interest rate, an 8%, a 7%, a 10%, and you can consolidate it into a 6.5%, then yes, that's absolutely beneficial to consolidate all of that and pay it off, and have one monthly payment with the 6.5%. But again, that's something where if you are serious about purchasing a home, let's do the application. Let's look at what we're working with. And if a loan consolidation is really in the cards, or if maybe snowballing your debt would be more beneficial and we could get there just as quickly without hindering your credit score.
Yep.
And then again, something I'm guilty of is unnecessary spending. Just don't spend it. And if you feel like you want to spend it, whatever you spend, if you go out and spend $150 knowing you don't need to spend $150 at Target, then put $150 in your savings account and discipline yourself that way.
Yeah. That is probably the hardest part about buying a home, saving and changing your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's worth it in the long run.
What is pre-qualification? Again, I should probably change this slide at some point to pre-approval. Pre-qualification is basically where you basically give me a summary of your income, your assets, what you are comfortable paying a month. And we kind of go off of there. And I say, hey, okay, based off of what you're telling me, you can buy a $300,000 home. What we're really looking for these days is a pre-approval. Agents want a pre-approval. They need that pre-approval letter. They want to know that they can submit your offer with a pre-approval letter, that you have turned in all of your documents, that mean anything to me. And that if your offer gets accepted, we have everything to turn around and then turn you straight into the processor, which then hands you over to the underwriter. And it's just a smooth, quick process. So we really should probably do away with this slide and turn it into a pre-approval slide.
All right.
This is another program that I have. So say you are pre-approved. This is an amazing program we have. We can actually, while you're house hunting, we can submit you to underwriting while you're house hunting. We get all your documents and we collect basically your credit pull fee of $100, and we will submit you to underwriting while you are house hunting. What this means is instead of getting a pre-approval letter, I would actually give out a letter that says you are pre-approved through underwriting. It's a completely different program, a letter than your pre-approval. It's got a lot more detail information on it. It can take your 30-day closing and turn it into a 20, anywhere from a 15 to 20-day closing, depending on the appraisal. And it gives the listing agent, the sellers, that peace of mind that, hey, they've already been through underwriting. We've already knocked out usually 8 days of the process. And we really just need your homeowner's insurance, a mutual agreement, and the appraisal back. And then we can wrap this bad boy up. So it's a great program that we utilize. I would say the market, this was a very hot program when it was crazy and the rates were a lot lower and people were when we were going in over asking price and people were depleting their 401ks to purchase homes. This was a great program to utilize due to that fact that they were already through underwriting. So they knew they had a solid buyer with assets verified, and that we could close a little sooner to help the sellers jump into the market to buy their next home. And then we also have the lock-in shop. This was also great when the feds were raising rates on us and we didn't know when they were going to do that. And they would just wake up on Mondays and be in a great mood and take us from a 4% up to a 5% interest rate. And nobody knew when that was going to happen. We definitely can still utilize this. I know the feds have kind of frozen mortgage rates right now. They still are fluctuating a little bit. But we do know there's going to be one more rate hike at least before the end of the year. But basically how this program works is you would secure it with $1,000, which that $1,000 basically comes back to you at closing. So you've paid $1,000 towards your closing costs, but we can lock your interest rate, and it is locked for 90 days. And your interest rate is locked while you house hunt, which means no matter how crazy the rates get, and they're at like a 7.25, between a 7.25 and a 7.75 right now. But say we lock you at a 7.25 and the feds get crazy and wake up all angry and they hike them up to an 8.5%. You are locked in at 7.25. Your payment will not change. Your pre-approved value will not change, which means you do not lose buying power while you are house hunting. Whereas I will tell you, from going from 7.25 up to an 8.5%, you could easily lose $100,000 in buying power, easily, especially if you are already on the cusp of your DTI being maxed out.
Mm-hmm. It's huge.
Yeah. So this was a great program last year when we just didn't even know what the feds were going to do from week to week with the interest rates. So it was definitely that peace of mind while you were house hunting.
That's awesome.
So these are the loan programs some of the loan programs that we offer at Union Home Mortgage. I definitely know we offer more than this. But we have your conventional loan program, and you can go as low as 3% down on that. We have your FHA program, which is 3.5%, and that is a government loan. Then obviously we have your VA loan, which is for all military, and that is 0% down. That's 100% financing. Your USDA loan, which is available in every single state, it is 100% financing with 0% down. There are some tricks to that one. They are very strict on their debt to income. They are strict on their income limits and their debt to income. Did I already say that? They're strict on their debt to income, their income, or their income limits, and then where you can buy. It's really for, I don't know how to say the word, rural areas. So it's to help people buy out in the country and the farmer area, farmlands kind of. But I will tell you, there is a good chunk of North Carolina that is qualified for that. I will tell you almost all of Washington State is qualified for it, which is crazy. And almost all of Texas and Arizona is qualified. And then I would say a good chunk of Florida is qualified as well. Florida just gets tricky because of the cities. And then we have construction loans. I'm certified in construction to perm loans, which you can do this with manufactured homes and stick builds. That's an amazing product as well. And then your home style loans.
Awesome.
Yep.
And Morgan can tell you which one would be best for you. Your situation.
Yes. Yep. But we also do like bank statement loans, DSCR loans, which is basically if you were buying an investment property, we use just the rental income from that investment that you would be buying. And that rental income is the qualifying income for the loan, which is a really cool program. It's intricate, but it's cool.
Do you already have a renter for that?
You can. I mean, you can definitely buy an investment property that already has a renter in it and use it, or we do what is called a rental appraisal. And the appraiser basically tells us what they think you could rent it for. And then that's what we use as the income.
That's great.
Based off of that appraisal.
What's the name of
this is just the do's and don'ts of homeownership. I can send, if you will post your email address, I can send you this flyer so that you can look at it and then we can discuss any questions you have off of this. But I send this out with all of my pre-approvals.
Okay.
And then the My UHM app. So this is a personal app that I have. You can download it on your phone. It makes home buying amazing. It makes the whole loan application amazing. My husband and I are active duty military. When we were stationed in Japan, I actually did my entire home purchase through this app. And that's actually how I got hired through the company. But it was amazing and it was super user friendly, even for me in a country all the way across on the other side of the world. So it's amazing. It's an amazing tool. And then once you close on your home, you can actually pay your mortgage through the app.
Very nice.
Yeah,
keep going.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. So you can calculate. Yep. You can play on it. You can calculate your payments. You can send me messages through there. You can securely upload your docs on there. You'll get notifications of the loan process that we're in as you're going through the home buying process.
And the is also updated in that as well, which is wonderful.
Yep.
Closing.
Yep. And then the closing, understanding closing. So understanding the closing costs. The closing costs are fees and expenses associated with the official home purchase. These closing costs, yes, they can differ significantly based on several variables, including where you live, the type of loan, and the property you are purchasing. And typically closing costs total between 2 and 5% of your home's purchases. I will tell you, it will also vary on the time of month that you purchase the home. But I would say 60 to 70% of your closing costs is escrow setup. And when I say escrow setup, that is basically paying your first year of homeowner's insurance, paying the prorated amount of your property taxes for the rest of the year, and then setting up your escrow for the following year and getting that set up for your property taxes and your homeowner's insurance for the next year for when they're due. And then if you close on the first of the month, or at the beginning of the month, you technically are going to be paying a month full of prepaid interest. So yes, you'll get 2 months of no mortgage payments and no rent payment if you are buying a house, which is amazing, but you will technically pay a mortgage payment in prepaid interest if you close at the first of the month. So your closing costs will be a little higher as opposed to where if they were at the end of the month, where you might only have 4 or 5 days of prepaid interest that you're paying because you're closing on the 25th of the month and only getting 1 month of no mortgage payments. So tit for tat, if you really want 2 months of no mortgage payments, but you want to kind of pay it up front in closing, just something to consider. But those are your closing costs. And then how to prepare for closing. Once we get your final CD balance, which is your closing disclosure with title and escrow, I will send out a final CD email that breaks it all down in an email. And then I will actually call you and we will go through this line for line to make sure you are comfortable with it. And it is usually a day or two before you go to the title or escrow company to sign everything. We will arrange everything. I used to send out wiring instructions as well, but now just with how crazy fraud is getting and all of that, I will actually set up everything for you to call the escrow company, and the escrow company or the title company will walk you through your wiring instructions on wiring over your closing costs, your down payments, all of the funds needed for cash to close. Your escrow company will set that up. And then obviously you want to bring a government issued ID, usually a driver's license. And then on the phone with me is all the questions you want to prepare or you want to ask. And that's what I'm there for. So any questions that you have is usually that one-on-one time that we have with that email. And then what you receive at closing, a huge stack of papers to sign where you feel like your hand's going to fall off. But your RESPA documents, your real estate settlement procedure acts, your closing disclosure, your promissory note, and your deed of trust, your mortgage security instruments, your documents required by state and or local governments, the lender documents that we require, including your initial escrow setup, and in Florida, your keys to your new home.
Oh. And it's important to say that because like in North Carolina, you have to wait until the deed is recorded in order to get your keys. Okay? And if it's not recorded like on a Friday closing, you don't get it till Monday. Mm-hmm. So it's important, you know, to understand that and to schedule appropriately.
Yeah. Yeah, because sometimes, I mean, you know, you think you're closing on your house on Friday and you're going to get the keys and get to move in, and you don't get to move in until Monday.
And that can be a when you have the truck rented.
Yeah. And then it's crazy. And then you've got to ask the seller if you can pay rent for 2 days to move in. So then following closing, you take note of obviously when your first mortgage payment is due, but I have all of that in that final CD email, and I will reiterate that with you. And then your complete homestead exemption. And then you want to set up auto pay. That usually I would say, so another great thing about my company is we do not sell our loans. We service them in-house. So you stay with Union Home Mortgage after you close on your home. So setting up your auto pay, you can't do it the week after. It takes about 3 weeks for your loan to get into our servicing department for them to set everything up. So I would say about 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, then you can go in and actually set up your auto pay if you want to do that and go paperless and all of that good stuff. But then obviously you can reach out to me and I can help you set all of that up. What you can expect to arrive in the mail, I would say these days, it's usually a flash drive of all of your docs from title. Your homeowner's insurance policy will arrive in the mail. It usually beats you to the house. Your hazard insurance will beat you to the house usually. Your title, all the title stuff is usually a flash drive now. And then your recorded warranty deed. That's usually paperwork, but I have seen it starting to come out as a flash drive as well. So you get a couple of flash drives now. And then obviously welcome home.
Yeah. So we know and understand there's a lot to this whole process, but that's why you want to pick people that really know the industry well and that can walk you through it. As I said in the beginning, Morgan and I have been doing this for a long time. And so we're here for you with any questions that you may have about the process or just anything. So feel free to reach out to us and ask us anything that you would like. And we will direct you, we will guide you. We spend probably, I don't know, Morgan, how much time you spend. I spend about 90% of my time just educating people, explaining the process. And yeah.
I mean, I'm very hands-on. I am available 7 days a week for my agents and my buyers. But I'm very transparent too. I have 2 active kids, an active duty military husband who comes and goes quite frequently. So I try to stay transparent with everybody. But I am available 7 days a week for everyone.
Nice. That's very nice. And it's so nice to have a lender that you have her cell phone and email, because a lot of lenders, you just get the 800 number and you have to wait. And when you have kind of like an emergency, it's like, I don't have time to wait. Morgan, help. So that's what I love about working with Morgan. She's really great to work with. So
I try.
I try. All right, guys. Well, thank y'all so much. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And I will put our emails in the information in the broadcast. And thank you for bearing with us. This is our first time on this platform. And so going forward, we will have this all put together. But so great to see everybody and talk to everybody. And again, I'm KellyannCostanzo, Exo Realty in North Carolina, Starlink Realty in Florida. And go ahead, Morgan.
And I'm Morgan Cassidy with Union Home Mortgage. And I am based out of Washington State, but I am licensed in North Carolina, Florida, Arizona, Texas, and Washington.
She's a busy gal.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. See if I can end this.